Arsenal's next 3 summer signings have been revealed. They are moving in the right direction, in my opinion. We've spoken about Manchester United the last couple of days and how great their transfer window has been. But Arsenal, if they get this player over the line, I will be absolutely furious. I'm already pissed off as it is that Riccardo Calafiori is going to be an Arsenal player in the next coming days. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you go down, hit that subscribe button. I can't thank you guys enough for the support. We hit 10,000 subscribers last Thursday and we hit 12,000 subscribers yesterday. It genuinely is unbelievable. I can't thank you guys enough. We are moving in the right direction. The goal is to try and hit 14k subscribers by the end of the transfer window. So if you guys enjoy the content that you're watching, go down, hit that like button and subscribe for more. Now, as we know, within the last couple of days, Fabrizio Romano has come out and the Riccardo Calafiori signing from Bologna to Arsenal has taken a lot longer than anticipated. And it is not Arsenal's fault. It's to do with Bologna's situation with Basel. There's a 50% set-on clause, and that's been dragging out for a number of probably weeks now. But Romano said yesterday, understand Arsenal and Bologna are now preparing all documents for Riccardo Calafiori deal. Formal steps to follow in order to close the deal in the next hours. Medical tests and contract signing to follow this week. Here we go, coming very soon. And then he followed it up last night as well, saying all proceeding well between Arsenal and Bologna. Riccardo Calafiori, documents and contract to be being prepared with Basel, set to agree on 50% set-on clause payment structure. So look, it's a fantastic signing for Arsenal. They are going down the sort of model playing for centre-backs, kind of following Guardiola. I think it's a very, very good signing for Arsenal. And, you know, if they can get him done and wrapped up in the next 48 hours, they're looking at 2 other players. And if they get, well, one of these, I think is a very clever signing, but the other one is one of the most exciting players in world football at this moment in time. And I genuinely believe he makes Arsenal win the Premier League. That is how good he is. So we're going to start with Mikel Merino because he's getting a lot of traction in the Arsenal fan base. There's a lot of different reports coming out linking Mikel Merino to Arsenal. Now, Football London, who are a very good transfer source when it comes to Arsenal news, have put they are in the race for him and they would like to bring him in. Now, I think he's a good player. I don't think he is an out-and-out number 6. But the question is, when Declan Rice plays for England, he predominantly plays as a number 6 because we've got Kobe Mainu, sorry. And then we've got a number of players who can play the 10. Now, Arsenal have got Martin Odegaard, who can play that number 10 role better than 99% of players in Europe. Is there potential a situation where Arsenal look to bring in a Zubimendi or look to bring in a Mikel Merino, who can both play as a central midfielder /8 and then move Declan Rice back to the 6? That is a potential option. However, I personally feel that Declan Rice is a much better 8 in Arsenal's system than he is a 6. Now, this report come out from Football London and it said, Arsenal transfer news, Mikel Merino boost plus Eddie Nketiah talks and Riccardo Calafiori contract. Now, of course, it was announced yesterday that Marseille are in talks for Eddie Nketiah, which would be a fantastic bit of business for Arsenal because that would be 100% profit with regards to Eddie Nketiah. Now, here it is. Spanish journalist Kike Marin has provided a short update on Arsenal's pursuit of Mikel Merino, claiming that the move is getting closer. It was claimed by, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that, on Monday, that Arsenal are best placed to sign the midfielder. The reports say Merino is the style of footballer that will suit Arsenal's game. Chelsea have been interested too, but the reports add the possibility of hijacking a deal seems remote. So, who is Mikel Merino? If you're not familiar, he plays at Real Sociedad. He is he scored the winner for Spain against Germany, a header at the dying minutes against Germany in the Euros. He's 28 years of age. He's predominantly a centre midfielder, but can play as a six. Now, the reason why this would be absolutely brilliant business, because he has 1 year left on his contract. He's been at Real Sociedad, since he was, 21, 22, so 6, 7 years now. He's a very, very good player. He had a very good Euros, obviously won that, with Spain, being heavily linked to a move to Arsenal. Now, I believe he's got some good experience. He was at Newcastle, believe it or not. Newcastle, Borussia Dortmund, and Real Sociedad. If Arsenal bring him in, that for me opens up the door for the likes of Thomas Partey to leave. 242 games for Real Sociedad, 67 games for Osasuna, so over 300 games in Spain. Played at Newcastle, played at Borussia Dortmund, and he's got over 70 GA in 343 games, which is not a bad return for a guy that's predominantly played as a central midfielder in his career. I think that is the sort of signing that's a smart, incredibly smart bit of business from Arsenal. And I think in terms of their midfield, in terms of their balance of midfield, if Thomas Partey goes, it kind of puts them in a situation where, Thomas Partey, as good as he is, he's only really reliable for probably 10 games a season. Now, this balance in midfield, if you put Mikel Merino in the 6 with Declan Rice in the 8 and Odegaard in the 10, that's one of the best midfields in Europe. They are also linked, as well as Manchester United are, to Martin Zubimendi. Now, Manchester United linked with Ugarte, and I think at this moment in time, Man United could sign Ugarte and Zubimendi, but it would have to be if Scott McTominay or someone else, or maybe Casemiro, left Man United. Arsenal are in a position where, obviously, they went to the very, very last game of the Premier League season. They're still in a title race. They went to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Money doesn't seem to be an issue for the Cronkies. You look at the bench. Obviously, I know Bukayo Saka missed the last game of the season. You look at that bench. Now, Emil Smith-Rowe, heavily linked to a move away. Eddie Nketiah could be joining Marseille. So in terms of their midfield options, they're going to have Fabio Vieira, Jorginho. I think Thomas Partey leaves. So it'll be Jorginho, Fabio Vieira, Declan Rice, and Mikel Merino. And there is an option potentially of Urian Timber playing in there as well. So I think that's a good bit of balance for Arsenal. I think with Odegaard and Rice, you've got 2 world-class players. I think they just need one more. This is the difference between Manchester City. They've got a world-class midfield completely stacked with talent. They've got the best defensive midfielder in the world for me with regards to Rodri, potentially Ballon d'Or winner. Arsenal have obviously signed David Raya on a permanent fee. Riccardo Calafiori is going to be the new left-back at Arsenal. And it's now about what else can they do to really strengthen throughout the season. And one player that is being heavily linked, and I swear to God, if he joins Arsenal, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. And that is Nico Williams. Nico Williams is heavily linked to a move to Arsenal and Barcelona. Now, Barcelona are pushing the boat out. They are trying everything within their power to sign Nico Williams from Athletic Bilbao. Now, the way I look at it is Arsenal have probably got more financial power than Barcelona. Barcelona are in a completely different situation to Arsenal. I think Arsenal are a lot closer to Manchester City than Barcelona are to Real Madrid. And what I think with regards to Arsenal is, if they bring in Nico Williams, they complete that front line of Kai Havertz, Bukayo Saka, and Nico Williams. And then the depth they'll have in Trossard, Martinelli, and Gabriel Jesus. And Gabriel Jesus, according to reports, has been looking extremely sharp, and he is working hard to break back into the Arsenal team. Now, Barcelona, Romano said last night, Barcelona are increasingly confident in getting the green light from Nico Williams on contract terms. Club now confident about having convinced Nico about the project with La Liga approval for financial fair play plays a key step. More contacts to follow this week. But there are still credible sources coming out and saying Arsenal are still in the mix. If they, honestly, if they sign Nico Williams, I will be absolutely furious. You're talking about a guy that scored in the Euro final, carried Bilbao to the Copa del Rey last season, had an unbelievable season in terms of for Spain and for Arsenal. And if they can bring in Calafiori, Nico Williams, and Merino or Zubimendi, for me, that puts Arsenal in pole position to go and win the Premier League title. You know, 2 points they finished off last year off of winning the Premier League. Nico Williams got 2 goals and 1 assist in 6 games for Spain. They need probably one more attacking player of real quality. And in my opinion, they go and win the Premier League. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. If they get it done, you know, it will be a very, very, very good signing for Arsenal. Now, a bit of other transfer news regarding them is Arsenal, Eddie Nketiah, Marseille. Now, what's going to happen with Eddie Nketiah is going to be very, very interesting in terms of the next coming days, as well as Smith Rowe, because these are academy players who will generate 100% profit that will help Arsenal's FFP. And Eddie Nketiah, in my opinion, I don't think he's good enough for Arsenal. I think if PSG get the signing over the line, not PSG, sorry, Marseille, it'll be a brilliant bit of business. But this is another interesting bit of news. Now, obviously, you know, the likes of Calafiori, Zinchenko I don't think their futures at Arsenal are certain. I think one of those could potentially go. Now, Arsenal are prepared to offer Eddie Nketiah as part of a swap deal with Crystal Palace for Mark Guéhi. Now, obviously, Guéhi had a brilliant Euros of England, was probably our best player. Crystal Palace are also looking at the likes of Emil Smith Rowe. You know, Smith Rowe, I don't know how many years he's got left on his contract. I think he's got 2 years left. With regards to Eddie Nketiah, I think Smith Rowe in this market is probably a £30 million player because he's the fact that he is homegrown. And I think Eddie Nketiah is probably a £35 million player. Whoever signs Smith Rowe is a little bit of a gamble because he has been injured a number of times. Eddie Nketiah only signed a contract extension back in January 2022, so he does have 3 years left on that. I'm not 100% sure if he's gone on tour with Arsenal. Obviously, they play Manchester United and Bournemouth this week in Los Angeles. I'm not 100% sure if either of those have travelled or if Arsenal have travelled anyway. But I personally believe right now, with regards to Arsenal, if they can get rid of both of those, that puts them in a very, very, very strong position in terms of the remainder of the transfer window, because it will do their FFP wonders, and you're opening up 2 more homegrown spots in the club. Now, I'm surprised no one's really looking at this. Manchester City wants 70 million euros plus 20 million in bonuses to sell Julian Alvarez. Now, I'm not entirely sure what source that is. That is a Manchester City correspondent for The Athletic. That's £60 million. For a player of Julian Alvarez's quality, I think that is an absolute steal. An absolute steal. Honestly, you're talking about a player that's won a Copa America, won a World Cup, won a treble, has got an extremely good record in the Premier League and in a Manchester City shirt. Is that a potential signing for Arsenal or Chelsea or even a team abroad? He got 2 goals in 5 games in the Copa America for Argentina. He's got 12 GA in 17 in the Champions League, and he's got 140 GA in 200. He's got 140 GA in 225 games in his career for River Plate and for Manchester City. And his record in the Manchester City shirt is very, very impressive. You know, it's, I don't know why that advert keeps popping up. There we go. He's got 36 goals and 18 assists. He's got over 50 goal contributions in 103. His Premier League record, he's got 30 GA in 67. Good record in the Club World Cup. Good record in the Champions League. I'm amazed Arsenal or Chelsea are not really going to go in and break the bank for him. Arsenal have obviously got a very good record when it comes to signing players from Manchester City. Do let me know your thoughts down below if you haven't already. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you have subscribed. Big up to everyone who's been subscribed. We're on the road now to 13,000 subscribers. So, yeah, honestly, the support is absolutely obscene. I will see you on the next one. Thank you all for watching. I am